Is the world truly witnessing the birth of a global icon who stands entirely on his own name? Or are we entering a new chapter in a long-standing debate about how a big name is built, sustained, and perhaps questioned? That question does not arise without reason. When the name Jungkook once again shook the global stage with his latest achievement, the public was not only amazed, they also began to question, analyze, and even doubt. In an increasingly complex entertainment industry landscape, every major victory often comes with an even larger discussion. And this time, that achievement comes from the results of the Overseas Hallyu Status Survey 2026 released by the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism of South Korea, an official institution that has long been a key reference in measuring the global influence of Korean culture. In the survey conducted from November to December 2025, involving more than 27,400 respondents from 30 countries who actively consume Korean content, one fact emerged clearly yet surprisingly: Jungkook became the only soloist to break into the top rankings across all 5 continents, an achievement that statistically and historically is not only rare, but nearly impossible. In the Americas, Jungkook ranks second with 4.4%. This seemingly modest figure actually carries significant meaning, considering that the American market is known as one of the most competitive and difficult for non-Western artists to penetrate. In the Asia-Pacific region, often regarded as the home of the Hallyu wave, he ranked third with 3.9%. Africa placed him third with 2.9%, while Europe ranked him fourth with 2.6%. In the Middle East, he again secured third place with 1.5%. At a glance, these numbers may appear to be mere statistics, but upon closer examination, Jungkook's consistency across nearly all regions stands as clear evidence of something greater: a global influence that is not fragmented, not limited by culture, language, or even regional preferences. This is not just popularity. This is penetration. A viral post from his global fanbase reinforced this narrative with a statement that immediately sparked waves of reactions worldwide. Jungkook is a top 3 Hallyu figure on every continent, the only soloist with such global reach. This simple yet powerful line became fuel for 2 opposing sides that quickly formed in the public sphere: those who celebrate, and those who begin to question. On one side, fans known as ARMY welcomed this achievement with deep emotion. For them, it is validation of Jungkook's long journey, an artist who debuted as the youngest member of BTS and has now emerged as an independent global entity. They call him a global pop superstar, a title that no longer feels exaggerated when looking at the data. To them, this proves that Jungkook did not merely share in the success of BTS, but has carved his own path. On the other hand, a question arises that is no less compelling, and perhaps more complex. Does this achievement fully reflect Jungkook's individual strength? Or is it still a shadow of BTS's dominance as a group? This question is not meant to diminish, but to understand the deeper dynamics of how global influence operates in the modern entertainment industry. The fact that BTS itself still ranks first overall in the survey adds another layer to this discussion. Jungkook stands third globally alongside Blackpink, a group with immense global influence. Here is where the narrative becomes even more intriguing. Jungkook, a soloist, stands on equal footing with major groups that possess structured systems, strategies, and collective resources. Does this mean Jungkook has transcended the traditional boundaries between individual and group in the K-pop industry? Or does it instead show that the concept of a soloist in the modern era is no longer the same as it once was? This discussion grows even more complex when we consider how the global music industry has transformed over the past decade. In the past, a solo artist had to build a fan base from the ground up, often facing significant challenges in distribution, promotion, and exposure. But in the digital era, where streaming platforms and social media dominate, an artist with a strong fan base can rapidly expand their reach. In this context, Jungkook occupies a unique position. He not only has a solid foundation from BTS, but has also successfully leveraged that momentum to build a distinct artistic identity. His songs, performances, and even his image as an individual reflect a clear evolution, from a magne to a global icon. Yet it is precisely at this point that a deeper question emerges. Does the world truly see Jungkook as an individual separate from BTS? Or are the two still intertwined in public perception? Is this achievement proof of independence? or a reflection of collective strength that has not been fully separated? Netizen reactions suggest that the answer is far from simple. Across various platforms, discussions have evolved rapidly. Some see this as proof that Jungkook has reached a level rarely attained by many Western solo artists. Others argue that comparisons with groups like Blackpink highlight how group structures still hold certain advantages in global reach. But amid all of this, one thing remains undeniable: data does not lie. An official survey with clear methodology and a significant number of respondents shows that Jungkook's influence is consistently global. This is not a fleeting trend. This is a pattern. And perhaps this is where the greatest surprise lies. Not in the fact that Jungkook made the top 3, not even in the numbers he achieved, but in the broader implications of that achievement. That in an increasingly fragmented world where cultural preferences are more diverse than ever, there is still one name capable of crossing those boundaries with remarkable consistency. Does this mean we are witnessing the birth of a new era in the global entertainment industry? An era where the line between local and global becomes increasingly blurred, and where an artist can hold truly universal influence? Or is this merely the beginning of a long discussion about how we define influence itself? About whether numbers and rankings are enough to capture an artist's impact, or whether there are intangible factors that cannot be measured by statistics? What is certain is that Jungkook's achievement is not just news. It is a phenomenon, a turning point that forces us to reconsider how we understand success, popularity, and influence in the modern era. And perhaps the most important question is no longer whether this is a moment of pride or the start of a long debate, but whether we are truly ready to understand what all of this really means. Yet just as that wave of euphoria reaches its peak, a different nuance begins to emerge, subtle, almost inaudible, but gradually growing stronger beneath the roar of praise. Is this purely about numbers? Or is there something deeper moving beneath the surface? The name Jungkook is no longer merely associated with BTS, but now stands as a new symbol of transformation within the global entertainment industry. Yet transformation always comes with consequences. When an artist begins to transcend their original identity, the public does not only admire, they begin to observe more critically. Some cultural observers view this phenomenon as a compelling anomaly. How is it possible for a soloist from the K-pop industry to maintain consistent influence across 5 continents, amid the long-standing dominance of Western artists in the global market? Is this proof that the Hallyu wave has reached its absolute peak, or rather a sign that the power structure within the global music industry is shifting? On the other hand, there are those who begin to question another dimension that is rarely discussed openly. How significant is the role of the fandom ecosystem in shaping results like this? In Jungkook's case, the strength of ARMY is not merely as supporters, but as a global network that actively promotes, distributes, and even amplifies every achievement. But that question brings us into more sensitive territory. Does influence measured through surveys truly reflect an artist's organic appeal, or is it also the result of highly organized collective mobilization? This is where the narrative becomes increasingly complex and even more compelling, because regardless of all these debates, one fact remains impossible to ignore. Jungkook has managed to sustain his position at the top with remarkable consistency. And in a world that moves as fast as it does today, consistency is often far more difficult to achieve than fleeting popularity. So when the words "Congratulations, Jungkook" echo around the world, perhaps they are not merely a form of celebration. They may well mark the beginning of a much larger global conversation about the meaning of influence, about the boundary between the individual and the collective, and about how a new chapter of history is being written right before our eyes.